Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Long Beach on this perfect day. We're gathered here today to fight for our communities and to have a great summer season coming up. Leading us here today is our County Executive, Laura Curran, who's been a fierce advocate for Long Islanders during an unimaginably difficult year. But we certainly see that light at the end of the tunnel. On a day like today, that light is bright and inviting, and we want to run into summer as fast as we can. And Laura has led the way to get us to this place where our vaccination rates are some of the best around, our COVID rates are plummeting, and we could taste the summer just in front of us or just behind us at the Beach Burger. So I'm here to welcome, to kick this press conference off, our great County Executive, Laura Curran.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Senator Todd Kaminsky. I am so happy to be with you here in your beautiful hometown, beautiful home city of Long Beach. We are joined, of course, with Senator Kaminsky. We also have the Long Beach City Council President John Bendo. We have City Manager Donna Hayden. We also have members of the Long Beach Police Department and Lifeguard Patrol here, and we have the police chief. Is it chief or commissioner? Commissioner Ron Walsh as well, no stranger to Nassau County. And we also have with us former Assemblyman Harvey Wiesenberg, who is Mr. Long Beach. Yep. And last but absolutely not least, we have Stacy and Ralph Anselmo, who are owners of Beach Burger, which is a Long Beach Boardwalk small business. And this is really why we're here. Big part of the reason why we're here is to support our businesses. So Todd talked about how our vaccination program is going very well, and I just want to give you some of the latest numbers on that. So 52% of our population have had at least one dose of the vaccine. That's just short of 70% of adults having had one dose of the vaccine. That's great news. In Nassau County, new cases have declined by over a third in just the past week. So we're making progress. The CDC yesterday loosened guidance around mask wearing outside if you're vaccinated. And since this time last year, we've certainly learned a lot about the virus, including, this is a very important fact for this press conference, the risk of outdoor transmission is lower. And if you add sunlight and ocean breeze, it's basically non-existent. So what we're doing is we're asking the state to allow our beaches to open at 100% capacity this summer. We are beach people. We are islanders. It's in our name, and it's in our DNA. People go to the beach. That's part of the reason why so many people live here, and then they go and they support their local businesses. Our beaches really do fuel our local businesses. They'll go for lunch, they'll go out for dinner after, maybe they'll go get a couple of drinks, they'll buy some towels, they'll take the kids and buy them some fun pails and things like that. We need the beaches open 100%. We know we can do it safely. The science says it, common sense says it, even the CDC is basically saying it. So anything we can do to encourage the state to make this decision. I want to thank Todd for working on this, and he's doing a great job for us up in New York State. We're doing everything we can to support our local businesses, and we know we can do it safely. So come on, Long Island, let's get it done.
Today, joined with the county executives and other state officials, we've written a bipartisan letter to the state health commissioner saying that last summer's beach guidance is no longer relevant and should no longer be the rule of the day. 50% beach capacity is where we are right now. But we know that health dictates and warrants a much greater capacity than that. And that's why we've written to ask that beaches be open as widely as possible. We know that from last summer that we expect rates to plummet exponentially even more than they are now. And the difference between last summer and this summer is, of course, the vaccine. And vaccine rates are going up and will continue to do so. For those of us who live in coastal communities, the beaches are our lifeblood. They're the lifeblood of our economy. They lift us up, and they support our businesses really all year round. It's very difficult to be a business without having that summer revenue that really drives the rest of the year. And so making sure that our businesses have as much customer support is really important. one of the most important things we're saying today is that the decisions about the summer must be made now. In a moment, you will hear from the Long Beach City Council President John Bendo about critical decisions Long Beach must make right now about hiring, working with the Long Island Railroad about transportation, about how to price certain things. Long Beach needs to know right now what type of summer it will have. And when we wake up next week, it'll be May, and soon it'll be Memorial Day, and the beach season will be upon us. So the time to do that smart planning is now. But for those who live here and for those who want to come here, what you're looking at right behind me is what it's all about. And we know we could have a safe summer on our beaches, and that's why we, in a bipartisan way, at almost every level of government, are asking the state to open it up. And we believe that we could do this. We believe they will listen. But one of the most important things we're saying is let's do it now. Let's give our cities, the lead cities and other jurisdictions that run beaches, the lead time to make the decisions so they are ready. What we don't want is a situation where we say, okay, now you can open the beaches, but towns or jurisdictions aren't ready to do that. That would be certainly a travesty that we want to avoid. We're really excited to have a great summer. I know the county executive has spoken to Sharks. They're not coming this summer. She's made sure, and so we're all ready to go. So I want to introduce you to the Long Beach City Council President John Bendo. He's going to tell you about the work the city has to do to get ready to have such a great summer and why unshackling Long Beach and allowing the state to allowing us to have a full summer here is so important. So City Council President John Bendo, thank you very much.
Thank you, Todd. Anybody who's seen me speak before, I'm an engineer, so I tend to like to start off with facts, but unfortunately the county executive stole my thunder. So, but one point I think that's definitely worth noting, though, is that while we're still currently at 50% capacity, we have 100% of the expenses related to operating the beach. And in a small community like Long Beach, we're only 33,500 residents. That is a difficult pill to swallow. That is a very difficult financial pill for the residents of this city to swallow, because this is a significant portion of our budget each year. And losing half of the revenue from this has to be made up somewhere else. And that often means on the back of taxpayers. And we don't want to tax our residents back to the Stone Age. It's just a simple fact that this needs to be open because we are dependent on it. It's not only that, but our businesses. We're here in front of one of our concessions here on the boardwalk. These people have put their lifeblood into these businesses, getting them going, keeping them running. And having half capacity just is a death knell to them, because they're trying to make a living. They're trying to keep their families afloat. And it's not only here, it's our businesses in town as well. They're dependent on the people who come down here to utilize our beautiful boardwalk. And having these great facilities here available but not able to be used is just, quite frankly, a waste. And quite frankly, the simple fact is, you know, we were following the science when we closed this down and went to half capacity. It's now time to use that same science to open these back up. Thank you.
A full summer season means the world to our businesses down here and in other coastal communities throughout our state. They depend on summer traffic, and to talk about their business, the Beach Burger, which is right behind you, is Ralph and Stacy Anselmo.
Hi. Thank you. I just want to thank you guys very much for your support. We really appreciate it. Like all you guys said, we just want to echo that how important it is for the beach to be open for the businesses and for the community, and just enjoying the boardwalk and enjoying the beach. You know, last year with COVID, our business was basically down 50%, pretty much echoing what John Bendo said about still having the budget being high, but we still had, you know, to pay our expenses and pay our employees, and food costs went up. So last year was definitely a big struggle. So to have the beaches open at 100% would be really, really helpful, especially, you know, to the businesses here in Long Beach.
Thanks. And we really want our family and friends who are non-residents to be able to come down and take part in the beach, our business, and all the other beautiful businesses in Long Beach has to offer as well. So open up. French toast for her.
And on behalf of Long Beach residents, please come down to us this summer. Just don't block our driveways. It's really important that you don't do that. That is an actual thing. So before we conclude, I just want to thank Senator John Brooks and Assembly members Miller and Griffin for signing on to this letter. We are united in wanting our beaches open this summer. We are united in wanting our businesses to succeed as a result of summer traffic. And we're all united in asking the state government to change its rules now so that our municipalities can plan accordingly. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. To Assemblyman Harvey Wiesenberg for keeping this town great for so long, and to everyone in city government, the police officers and lifeguards who work so hard to make us great. Thank you very much. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, this is something that our health department, led by our health commissioner, Dr. Larry Eisenstein, will work on. There will likely be guidance from the state, whatever the percentage is, in terms of spacing. You remember last summer you could have, your radius around your blanket. I'm sure there will be similar kinds of numbers and guidance that will follow. But first, the goal is to get to a 100% capacity, and then we can sort out those details. And our health commissioner and our health team will work with the state on the best way to make it safe as possible.
Yes, sir.
What do the capacity limits currently in place? What is that forecast for this summer in terms of residency restrictions? I know Long Beach had to limit to residents last year because they couldn't keep the...
So our residency restrictions, we did the beach that the county operates, Nickerson Beach, we kept it to just for residents because we were at 50% capacity. And that was because the city beaches were closed. Once the city beaches were opened, we let go of that residency requirement.
How about Long Beach?
Yeah, let me start. Let me just also say that when things are at 50%, it changes everything according to how much revenue you could expect from out-of-towners and how you have to limit the beaches. No one wants to be in a situation where we're picking who could be on the sand this year, who could jump in the ocean, who could come down to our businesses. The whole point of today is to avoid that. If it's left at 50%, we're going to have a repeat of last summer. We know what that was like. Certainly better to be on the beach than not, but our businesses suffered. People couldn't come down here. The railroad was empty. It just has tremendous ramifications that are all around negative. But it makes no sense to have last summer's rules apply to this summer when we know things are so different. First of all, vaccinations just change everything. That is just a game changer. But second of all, we also know from our experience last year that our COVID rates were really low. I don't think there's any evidence I've seen that there was COVID spread on the beach. And we think this is a safe place that people can go. And I have full confidence that the city can manage it, whatever the percentages are that are given. Yeah, absolutely. Our municipalities need to make decisions about planning for the summer. How many people need to be hired? Just to even put prices on beach passes, you need to expect how much out-of-town traffic you're going to have. The railroad is talking to Long Beach about whether they're going to be part of a travel program on summer days. Well, are people going to be allowed to get on the trains and come here or not? So there are lots of planning decisions that have to be made right now. And what we don't want to have happen is the percentages get changed like the week before July, and we're not ready to deal with an influx of people. That's where you have problems, where you can't plan, you can't adequately have the staffing to make sure people aren't on top of each other and things like that. So to not have the chaos and to plan accordingly, we're asking the state to give as much guidance in advance as possible, and that's why, even though we're in April, we're saying, hey, summer's right around the corner, let's go now.
We got to get lifeguards, we got to train them.
Yep. I mean, there's always flexibility built into anything we do. I think we've shown that in the different health department rules throughout the year. But I don't think anyone is anticipating, nor is there any science behind the fact that beaches will become a problem. The science tells us everything in the other direction, that beaches are one of the safest places you can be, that you're outdoors. And then once you add the fact that so many people are going to be vaccinated, I really think that that changes the dynamic. It certainly warrants an immediate reconsideration of last summer's guidance that is no longer relevant. But as we head into the summer, it's still there, and it needs to be changed.
Question for the county exec. The Bethpage Air Show is coming up. Are you suggesting that that should be opened up fully and decided now instead of the tickets that are being sold?
Well, that's already been announced at 50%, so I imagine that's going to stay 50%. Yeah, because there's a lot of planning that goes into that in terms of parking and security and where people are and the staging. So I cannot imagine that that's going to change, and I wouldn't request that it change at this point. It's too far down the road.
Can I give an answer to that too?
Yeah.
I don't think any of us here are saying today that that if you have an event, you shouldn't plan that to be safe and not everything needs to be 100%. We're not here saying open up all the regulations. Beaches are different, right? There's beaches from the end of the island to this end of the island, then onto Jones Beach, then onto Tow Bay, and go on and on. So, there's different ways that when municipalities are prepared, they could work on getting crowds to be at a mitigated level. But we need to know what that is, and we need to know what that is now. Of course, if you said, hey, there's one event on one beach, what happens with that? Obviously, the city may have to make different rules or request the county health department to do that. So we're not here in any overreaching way saying get rid of all restrictions. We just think beach planning is a lot more than one event. It's a lot more than one weekend. It's a whole season, and it requires a lot of diligent planning to go into that, hiring and training lifeguards, working with the railroad, pricing out different things, having businesses prepared. So we certainly want to raise the flag right now and say let's work on this right away.